My name is Michael Jordan. I don't play basketball, but I do build computers, and I am the transport lead at TPX Impact. At TPX, we are problem solvers, we are people-powered, and we're human-centered change makers. As a digital consultancy, we have a practice dedicated to bricks, wheels, cables, and green stuff that helps keep our country running. But my journey in transport began long before I joined the best company I have ever worked for, TPX Impact. Hackney Community Transport was the largest social enterprise in the UK, and my experience with them helped drive my love for transport as I witnessed the impact that transport has on citizens, as it is far more than just reaching a destination. We supported individuals who were at risk of social isolation to find and connect with communities of interest to them. We supported carers and their loved ones to go beyond the four walls of their accommodation and see sites they had never seen before. And I visited businesses who used our transport as a means to make positive change for citizens up and down the country. My experience helped me realize that transport is a human experience, and learning this so early in my career helped shape my desires to use transport as a means to make positive change for citizens in our society. And TPX Impact is the vehicle to deliver this change. Now today, I'm going to be sharing with you lessons we've learned whilst delivering positive change across all corners of government that we feel should resonate with you. From building a community of local planners to redesign the planning system from the bottom up, to making it easier to apply for project funding and assess applications for project funds, and our work making it easier, or at least less painful, to buy and sell a home. Now, across all of our projects, there is a common underlying theme which transcends the boundaries of departments, clients, and sectors. One thing is always true, and it's this: data challenges are human challenges. It's humans who create the data, with surveys or spreadsheets, or by creating technology that generates the data. It's humans who manage the data, moving data between spreadsheets, creating graphs or dashboards to analyze it. And it's humans who consume the data with smartphones or in-vehicle devices. And as we move towards smarter systems, we cannot afford to forget the human dimensions of data. And with so many data-driven policies inbound, our success will be reliant on our human strategies. From the AI action plan to the transport data strategy, creating better outcomes for people with data needs to start with human-centered thinking. Yes, vehicles are far superior at generating data compared to other ecosystems that we've worked with, but there are some challenges, some critical data challenges holding us back as a sector. So if we want to progress, we have to embrace that data challenges are human challenges. And TPX Impact, we help solve them. We've helped when working directly with councils, such as our work testing demand-responsive transport with Suffolk, to our work making it easier to find transport data with the Department for Transport. Now, this is just a small sample of our wide array of projects that we've delivered across all forms of government, but today, we will be focusing on the following: our work to improve the quality and consistency of planning data and planning services by building the open digital planning community. Our work to streamline funding services by simplifying funding applications for all, and our work identifying the best ways to streamline the home buying and selling process for citizens and government bodies. Starting with MHCLG, and I think we will all agree that the planning system was not designed for the internet. But I will go a step further and say that the planning system was not designed. In the world of planning, for change to occur, documents need to be drafted, reviewed, redrafted, re-reviewed, re-redrafted. You get the picture. It's long, it's tedious, it's paper-based, and when someone decided to turn it into PDFs, it made everything even more complicated. Nameless documents, non-existent versioning, trying to find the data needed to action change was becoming further and further out of reach. So we were brought in to bring planning back to the 21st century, and our mission was simple: go from documents to data. I remember what we said: data challenges are human challenges. So we launched the Open Digital Planning Community, where local planning authorities come together, lean on one another, and together overcome the challenges plaguing the planning sector. The ODP community is built upon three core streams. First is standards, how data should be shaped. The second is services, to help data be collected and shared openly. And the third is support, helping humans to deliver change. Starting with standards, when the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act came to pass, the government was given new powers to mandate data standards for councils to conform to. But in order to actually enable the outcomes of policies, new standards needed to factor in user needs. It was the users who needed to tell government what was actually possible. So we co-designed planning data standards with those that would create and use the data. We worked with planners, property developers, software companies, and co-designed planning data standards with them. The co-design process involved us identifying specific things which would impact the outcome of a planning decision. We then brought together our ODP community to input on how to shape the standards. They shared their insights, they shared their experiences, they shared their pain points, helping us to understand the art of the possible and the best ways to attain the value we seek. Now, this process enabled us to create quite a list of planning data standards, and to help local planning authorities conform to these standards, we built the planning data platform where local planning authorities can check and submit planning data. The service enables local planning authorities to upload draft CSVs to check their data against the standard. The service then offers tailored guidance to help address any errors in their data. And once the data was ready for public consumption, local planning authorities would upload an API and seed their data into the national dataset. Now, some authorities were able to fly through this process, and others needed more support. And this is where the ODP community came into play. The Open Digital Planning Community is the space where local planning authorities come together to overcome the challenges they face. To give them a head start, we developed the Digital Planning Maturity Assessment, which analyzed the capabilities of authorities, as well as provided a tailored action plan to improve their digital maturity. We also hosted events where local planning authorities would openly share the innovations and progress made, seeding ideas of innovation up and down the country. Now, since launch in 2022, we have 2/3 of England's local planning authorities in our community, and together we have co-designed over 80 planning data standards. And because of our support, local planning authorities are able to share more data 20% faster. Now, there are many parallels between planning and transport, but the biggest for me is the ambition of the Transport Technology Forum, a community where local authorities convene, connect, and contribute to help us overcome the challenges we face, as well as champion creative ideas that help innovate our road network. We believe that there is massive opportunity to grow and shape this forum together. And if you have ideas regarding areas of transport that require a human approach to data, please do let me or my TPX team, if you give us a little wave in the crowd, please do let us know. Awesome. Moving on to our second case study, and I'm going to talk about something we can never have enough of. Money, money, money. And we've all been there. The amount of paperwork required to set up grants or funds, apply for money, assess applications for capital, as well as monitor the impact of our assessments. It can get overwhelmingly complicated for everyone involved, where assessors drown in paperwork, applicants get lost in the process, and each time a new round of funding starts, everyone has to start from scratch. But what if there was a way for applicants to connect existing data sources to populate new funds for applications? And what if there was a way for assessors to piece together transferable and reusable processes that can be used across multiple rounds of funding? Imagine how much paperwork we could eliminate. Well, our work with MXCLG helped turn that idea into reality. Quick show of hands, who in the room remembers a store called Woolworths? Also everyone, perfect. I, like many of you in the room, was a big fan of their pick and mix. and this is the pick and mix of funding services. So instead of starting from scratch, authorities can pick and mix common components to design, launch, and monitor the entire fund journey. And for applicants, it becomes far easier to apply for funding needed to unlock innovation. Now, we delivered this work across 5 separate funds, which resulted in an increase of 400% in applications, while saving assessors time reviewing each application. We saved assessors 5 hours per assessment, banking nearly 60 days. Now, the funding service design can impact all corners of the transport space, but in particular, the Connected Vehicle Services Framework. Now, there will be pilots up and down the country to implement the innovations we bear witness at the TTF. This will require funding, and for the framework to be really impactful, services will need to extend beyond the boundaries of authorities. So, instead of us creating multiple unique application processes, which vary across multiple authorities, why not streamline the funding mechanism that we can all use to access the capital needed to unlock innovation and eliminate paperwork? But that's what I think. But if you have ideas in terms of areas of transport that need better designed, data-driven technology, please do let me and my TPX team know. On to our third and final case study, and I think we'd all agree that the process of buying and selling a home is very long, very complicated, and a very, very outdated process. It's bananas to think that in this day and age, we work hard to save a deposit, negotiate a mortgage, to then face one of the most stressful life events on record. Buying and selling a home should be as easy as selling your motor. But instead, we have to wade through paperwork, most of which is paper-based, and for the process to progress, data sets held by different authorities need to be exchanged and updated. In surveys, people rank the experience of buying and selling a home on par with getting a divorce. The asset meant to secure our futures is as daunting as distancing ourselves from a loved one. It's not right. So our goal was to use a human-centered lens to identify how government should intervene and enable long-term reform. And we canvassed the entire market. We worked with everybody. Estate agents, local authorities, lenders, you name it, we worked with them. And they helped us to understand the data custodians, the power dynamics at play, the experiences that people had, helping us to identify where digitizing the system would generate a significant impact for people involved in the process. Through independent research, we identified and analyzed every single data point required in the home buying and selling process, then mapped the pain points and power dynamics involved in the exchanges of data, helping us to identify where digitizing the system would generate a significant impact for people involved in the process. The government is currently consulting on implementing our recommendations, which will quicken transactions, quicken the process, and make the process far less daunting. Now, the data is going to impact everything in the transport space. And as we move towards mobility as a service, we have to address the disconnected data sets that lead to a poor user experience. We have to join up data. We have to harness technology, but it must be done in a human-centered way. And if you beautiful humans have ideas regarding areas of transport that need better designed data to enhance users' experience, please do let me and my TPX team know. I am Michael Jordan. Thank you all for listening.